Hi, Rogue.
Hi, Zach.
So, we're back at it again, and today I have a teen comedy romance film to share with you.
Wow, I already hate it.
Well, here's the title: Status Update.
That does not make it better.
Okay. This movie, I feel like, kind of has like a little bit of an identity crisis in a lot of different ways.
Okay.
So, a lot, and this might just be a coincidence, but like the main stars are two Disney Channel actors,
That
Ross
I
Lynch
I automatically
and
assume that every teen comedy romance stars a Disney Channel actor.
uh
Is that
yeah
wrong?
well, we did watch Roxy, and one girl was from Degrassi, and one guy, the main guy, was from Ant Farm. So you're actually not wrong.
Yeah.
That's
Disney
just
has
fact.
is, has the corner on the market on those.
Yeah. Okay. So basically, this is like, I don't know. It says it was like direct to video, but like where they just do like streaming. Because like I found it on Hulu. And so there's kind of two backstories to this movie.
Okay.
One, the first time I watched it was because Hulu kept recommending that I watch it. I started it, and then literally anything else happened, and I stopped. Not because, and I that was just like live, and I forgot about it. And then, like, I forget when I first mentioned this to you, like maybe a month or two ago, Hulu started recommending it to me again. And so I was like, all right, let's just finish it and let's see like what's happening. Then I watched it. My friend came home, saw it, and was like, ew. And I didn't see her the rest of the night. I showed it to Bob. He died. And like, it's weird because this movie like tackles so many different tropes, and some of them I feel like it kind of does right. But even but it's kind of like right on paper. Like, I feel like they followed the correct formula, but it just didn't, I don't know, it just didn't click somewhere. And it's weird too because like everyone in this is really acting. They're not just phoning it in. Everybody really
They're trying their
committed. I
best.
like, yeah, there's like Ross Lynch, he's pretty talented. Rob Riggle is in this movie.
Oh wow.
And yeah, and Wendy McLendon Covey is in it
I don't know
from
who that is.
Bridesmaids. She was the housewife who was like, she's been in like she's like in the Gold. She's been in like a lot of stuff, but she's like a
Oh,
really funny actress. You know what
I
I'm talking
know.
about?
Yeah. I like her.
Okay, yeah, she's so funny, but like honestly, like kind of like didn't really like utilize her. Like
Okay.
I don't know, like they could have written more for her or just cast like a somebody, but I don't know. So this is a careful what you wish for movie.
Oh good.
Yeah.
Great.
Um I like how like irrelevant this movie is that Wikipedia gives me like nothing to go off of. It just says the premise, not even a plot summary, just the premise. A not so popular A not so popular high schooler named Kyle discovers a new app that brings all of his wildest real world fantasies to life.
Is this what? Is the app publicly available, or is it like a magic thing that only he can see and use?
Well, that's to answer that question, we have to get there first because you can't know yet because the movie opens up with Ross Lynch. His name's Kyle. in this. I think I said that. And he's about to walk out to the hockey field. And then he's like, "You're probably wondering how I got here."
Is that real?
Does
that happen?
He says something like, he's narrating the whole movie, and he says I forget what he says exactly, but that's the point. He's saying,
is it
like,
in media res? Or is he just saying it for no reason, and then the story continues?
Like, it starts, no, he says it like, he narrates the beginning and end, no in the middle.
Oh.
So, like,
I hate when movies do that.
Yeah, because also, like, who's he telling this story to? Because, like,
the audience.
He doesn't. Who cares? Because, like, he tells all the people in his life pretty much about it. Which I think is something that they do kind of right, because my big problem with a lot of teen things is they don't tell anybody about it, and he tells people. But anyway, so he's like, "You're probably wondering how I got here, but the truth, like, blah, 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 and I never knew where I'd end up. I've never even played hockey." And then, this is weird, because again, I've only known this guy for like 5 seconds, but then, like, it, like, stops, and it does this weird theme music, like, do, status update. And then we see him coming down, and now, like, we see, like, his mom walking upstairs to his room to, like, wake him up for school. And then now we get his narration again, and he's like, "At least not yet." But we're back in the past now. So
it was in media res.
Okay, yeah, I don't know what media res is.
I thought starts in the middle, and then it like goes back to, "You're probably wondering how I got here," and then it goes back to the beginning and tells the story up until that point, and then it's like, "So now you know, so now you're all caught up."
Oh yeah, okay, yes, it is that, yes.
Okay.
You've said that so much, and every time you say it, I just think that means, like, if it's filmed right, and I'm like, yeah, I guess so.
You're like, yep.
Like 1080p, I don't know. That's so sad. Okay. So here's the DL on Kyle. Like always, he's gonna have to be the new kid at school. He's going to school in Connecticut, but he used to live in California.
Of course.
Well, it's like the only place worth living, right?
It's the only place new kids are from.
Yeah, so
that, or like small town, farm town.
Yeah.
Free country, USA.
Well, you know what? I am a California girl in a new town, so I guess that's just like...
Yeah, that's just life. Okay.
Yeah, that's just a fact. Wendy is his mom, McLendon Covey or whatever, and she's like, "Okay, it's time to go to school." Here's, like, all the exposition they dropped over one breakfast. She's like, "Okay, I know you guys, like, kind of hate me right now." He has a sister, and they live with the grandpa. But, like, you can't get your car back because it's in California with your dad, and your dad's lazy and won't get a job, and so we moved 3,000 miles to get away from him, and I have a plan, and we're going to figure this out. You just need to stick it out and go to school. And he's like, but I want my car, and I want my dad. And it's like, all right. So then he leaves, and his sister is like, "Hey, like, ease up. Mom's doing, like, the best she can, bro." Like, and then he's like, "No, they're not getting a divorce. This is just temporary. We're going to get out of here soon." By the way, it's his senior year, so. All right.
Why doesn't he just... Okay. All right.
So then she's like, "Mom moved 3,000 miles to get away from Dad. I don't think there's any saving anything." And he's like, "You're wrong." So he goes to school, and he's like, "Hey, dude," which is weird because he doesn't really do this ever again. But he goes up to these hockey boys, and he's like, "Hey, dude, I need to find out where this room is." And then, like, the hockey guy's like, "Okay, dude, it's right here." But he gives him, like, wrong directions. And then he finally finds the class, and he's like, "Wow, thanks, dude." And then the hockey guy's like, "Got him." So this is like a lot of minutes into the movie. Like we're 10 minutes in, and I get he's not cool because he's from California.
Like you know those California kids, they suck. They're not cool at all.
It's really weird that he gets like bullied for being
from California.
Like that's such a weird reason, especially because like he's Ross Lynch. He's like really tall.
He's like
blonde,
a beach blonde. Yeah.
So like he's gonna. So then everyone's like making fun of it. Oh, this is something that a lot of movies do that bugs me. So he's late because hockey guy sabotaged him, right? And the teacher's like, let's not make a habit of that, okay? And I'm like, it's his first day, and the bell, like, just rang. Can he get a little bit of a break?
Nope.
It's also weird, too, because, like, the only time that kind of works is if, like, I'm gonna see this teacher again, and then she's gonna be like, I was wrong about you, Kyle. You really amounted to something, you know? But, like, we never see her again. She's just randomly mean for no reason. So then he's sitting at lunch and he meets this guy, Lonnie. And Lonnie comes up to him and he's like, hey, this is my table. And then Ross Lynch is like, oh my gosh, like, I'm so sorry. I didn't, like, mean. And he's like, oh my god, did that work? Like, he's, like, a really sweet, like, lovable, like, dorky guy, but he's, like, on the husky side, so, like, it kind of works since Ross Lynch didn't know him.
Okay.
Then he sits down. He's like, oh, wait, no, seriously, stay. I want to, like, be best friends with you. And so he sits down and, like, they're now talking to each other. And then hockey guy from before comes up and he's like, hey, Lonnie, I got a B on my test. Stop eating, study more. And I'm like, I'm not doing your homework. Like, I took your test or whatever I did for you that got a B. And you're still being mean to me.
Also, like, are bullies really that picky? If you're bullying someone to, like, doing your work so that you can get better grades than what you normally would get, or so that you don't have to study, are you really going to be like, you only got me a B, I have to get A's?
And, like, you're on the hockey team, so, like, it's not lower than a C.
Yeah.
So, but then he calls him Grimace. And then Ross Lynch is like, Grimace? And then he's like, yeah, they call me that because they think I look like... Yeah.
I feel like that's so, like... What generation is this? Like, young millennials, I guess. Because I'm technically... We're millennials. Do they know who Grimace is?
I had to think about it for a minute, so... But here's the thing. Now, he's wearing a purple, like a solid purple shirt, no design. If you get picked on and they call you Grimace, are you really gonna ever wear purple?
It's a power play. Maybe it doesn't actually bother him. And so he's like, power play.
I think it maybe, but he looked real sad.
Oh.
So, I don't know. It could be like he was trying to, but then... And also, I just don't really... I go back and forth. I don't really like what they did with Lonnie because, like, even his parents think he's a loser.
Oh.
Yeah. Like, they love him, but they've, like... But they, like, the whole movie... We only see them, like, twice, but, like, we have to, like, come to grips with the fact that he's a loser, hun. It's like...
That's bad.
Like, it's... Yeah. Like, and the movie doesn't really, like, condemn anybody for being mean to him. Especially since, like, he's just kind of nerdy, and he's, like, a very, like, unrealistic, dorky kind of character.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, it's kind of, like, his parents are literally, like, they don't believe that he's friends with Ross Lynch.
Oh.
They don't even know what Ross Lynch looks like. He just said, oh yeah, my friend Kyle. They don't believe he exists.
They don't believe he has a friend at all?
Yeah.
That's sad.
Because up to this point, he hasn't had any.
Like, there's definitely a difference between, like, parents who are like, well, my child's into this thing that I don't really understand, but good for them. And like, yeah, my child's a loser. We have to just accept that he's never gonna have any. Like, what the heck?
Yeah, like, can you at least like just love your son? Is that too much for you to do, people? But whatever. So they become friends, and hockey guy like spills chocolate milk on both of them, and they take pictures of it and stuff. Then he meets this girl, Olivia Holt. She's from like this Disney XD show.
I know Olivia Holt. What do I know her from?
She was in Just Kicking It. She was like in Girl vs. Monster.
I don't know what that is.
Oh, she also, I don't know if this is where you know her from, but my friend said she dated somebody relevant.
I don't know.
So he meets this girl, Olivia Holt, and he's like, "Oh wow, you're really cute." Like, he tries to like flirt with her, and then this guy comes up, and his name is something. What is his name? I don't know. But he's like, "Are you hitting on my girl?" And she's like, "I'm not your girl." And he's like, yes, the big joke here is that he's like straight, but he's not straight at all, because he like, so the girl,
what?
Olivia Holt, okay, so he's like, "Ross Lynch, stay away from my girl." Olivia Holt is like, "I'm not your girl." And he's like, "Well, your singing in chorus was flat today, hun, so quit it." And then she's like, "Whatever, man. Bye, Ross Lynch." And she walks away. And then he looks at Ross Lynch and he's like, "Hey, forget about her. Look at this." And then he walks off and like struts for him. But the whole time he's like, "But I'm not gay, I guess."
And that's the whole joke
of his well, but then it's also like, but then he also gets jealous of Ross Lynch later, but is also kind of in love with. I don't know. I don't really know what they were trying to do with him.
So they were trying to make like he's the stereotype of a gay boy, but isn't. But is. They're trying to do like a bait and switch.
Yeah. Like, that's like part of this like weird identity crisis is like they start stuff, but then it's kind of like they forget stuff that happened a little bit earlier. But that doesn't really like come into play. It's like not so much like a first draft, it's more just like we started in like a few new drafts in. Like, they were just like, "Oh, it'd be a cool idea if this happens," even though it cancels out something from before, kind of thing. I don't know what that is. But so then he's like, "Wow, she's really cute," or whatever. But then the hockey guys are like, "Hey man, sup." So they this is so like, this literally was very frustrating to me. They take his phone, play catch with it a little bit, and then the main hockey guy who's been giving him all this trouble does this like a slap shot with it and like breaks his phone.
Oh,
which is so hostile. Like, that's not even like light bullying anymore. That's just a felony. So he goes to the mall, and there's this kiosk, and he goes up to this guy, and this guy, the character's name, well, he doesn't have it. He's just like kiosk guy. That's all they call him. Anyway, moving forward. So kiosk guy is like, "Yeah, I can fix your phone." And then he's like says like this weird like parody guru stuff, like, "The universe is you and me, man, and you just gotta find you in it," and all this stuff. "Check out my app." So he puts this app on his phone, on Ross Lynch's phone. It's called Universe, spelled like YOU, universe.
Oh, okay.
So you just post like whatever you want to happen, like wish fulfillment kind of stuff, basically, into the app, and then it'll happen. So Ross Lynch is like, "You're weird, man, but whatever." So he goes home and he posts a status. "My dad drove my car down to Connecticut or whatever. So cool or something. And then the next morning he wakes up and his car is there. But his dad isn't. And he's like, okay, so half the wish came true. That's really cool. He goes to school and he decides that he's going to join choir so he can get close to the girl. And he makes a status update that he's like, I sing like I'm trained professionally. And so now this is a teen comedy. So what do you think goes wrong with this audition?
I don't know.
He starts singing like an opera singer.
Oh, I wouldn't have guessed that. It's like...
maybe it's kind of like how you like...
Okay, so this is gonna be one of those, like, you're getting wishes from a genie. So you have to be careful about, like, I know you said careful what you wish for, but, like, the wording, like, or the...
Like, yeah, literally,
semantics.
Like, you need to be cautious of... Yeah, you have to be cautious of, like, how you wish for things, yeah. So he starts singing like an opera singer, and, like, everyone is just like, oh my gosh. But, like, I don't know. I feel like you could utilize that voice somehow.
Yeah, I mean, opera is hard.
Yeah, but it was also like, sounded like a female opera singer.
That's also hard.
Yeah.
Like, that's impressive when guys can do that, especially past puberty. That's like an actual real talent.
Yeah. One thing that I guess is like kind of is like they do the whole opera song. And like I feel like you could have edited it a little bit or something. Like I didn't need to see the whole thing. 'Cause like at first he belts out like a big note and then he covers his mouth and like, oh my god, what was that came out of my voice? And then he just finishes the whole thing.
Oh, so he like keeps going even though he knows how he sounds. So is it like involuntary? Or did he decide, you know what? I'm gonna keep singing.
Well, it kind of seems like it's just autopilot now, like it's just kind of coming out. Here's what the music teacher says after his terrible, terrible performance. He was like trying to find something nice. And the teacher is somebody else too. Oh my gosh, who is he? Oh my god, I can't. I don't know, but he has a face, like he's been in stuff. So he's like, wow, that was... And he just starts laughing. Like, you must be a very lonely person. That's exactly what he said to this kid who just put himself out there and auditioned.
Jeez.
You could just be like, okay, thank you, that was nice.
Jeez, Goodbye. If teachers jab this hard on high school students, like, that would be rough.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. I don't know what high school the people who write these movies went to, but teachers are monsters. So then he's like, okay. So then he goes to the kiosk guy and he's like, hey, what gives? This happened. And so like they do the whole thing. He sings again. And then the kiosk guy says more guru stuff. Bottom line is you can't change the past. You just have to like make another wish to fix it. So this time he wishes to sing like Bruno Mars. He's more specific.
Okay. Good for him.
So he goes up to this is in the cafeteria. He goes up to his teacher, the music teacher, who's eating some pudding. He takes his spoon from his teacher and says, I'm going to perform again. Check this out. And he slaps his teacher's spoon on some tables and does a full boy band style rendition of Locked Out of Heaven.
Okay.
Which is a good, catchy song, but it's just really weird because at a certain point, like, he's just started singing to the girls, but, like, this started off with him singing to his teacher about how, like, Because they, like, this is weird too, because at first I was like, a lot of the things they do in it make it seem like very much like it was supposed to be a decom.
Right.
But I don't think a Disney Channel movie would let you say your sex takes me to paradise.
Right.
So, to your teacher, like, anyway. So he gets into choir, and his rival guy who's like, don't talk to my girl, she's my girl, look at me guy, whatever his name is, he's mad about that. And the girl is like, wow, you're like really good, you're impressive, we're really happy you're gonna be in choir now. So they all go to like dinner. Oh, okay, this is something I forgot about. So remember I said he had a sister, right?
Yeah.
This, I don't really know what my opinion on this is, but I feel like it's very important that I at least point out that this happens. She starts dating this guy, Xing Fu, and he is so loyal to his culture that he only speaks Mandarin.
Okay.
And for the rest of the movie, they dress in like kind of like anime cosplay.
Weird.
Yeah.
Insensitive.
Right. Okay. It is insensitive. Okay. Because I was like, I mean, if he wants to, because like people take like a vow of silence. You could take a vow of Mandarin.
Yeah, why not?
Like that's, yeah. But then at one point, like she's wearing like a dog collar. Not like there's like a leash, but like she's just wearing like a dog collar. And, like, they bring attention to it. It's just, I don't know. It's just something that, like, they kind of sprinkle throughout the movie that doesn't really, like, add or take away anything. It's just one of those, like, lol random tidbits, and I thought it was, like, a weirdly, like, specific choice.
Weird. I don't like that.
Yeah. Okay. I wasn't a fan, but I wasn't, like, really sure, like, what to make of it. Anyway. Okay, so he goes, and then choir guy is like, okay, Ross Lynch, you and me outside now. And I'm like, why are you challenging this guy you don't know to a fight? But, okay, go off, I guess. So then Ross Lynch, he puts up a status update, and he's like, oh yeah, at some point Rob Riggle is Ross Lynch's dad, and he came back, and nobody is really comfortable with that except for Ross Lynch. Anyway. So Ross Lynch puts a status update, and he's like, what's it called? Oh yeah, fought like Bruce Lee, kicked choir guy's butt, and then he just like beats him up pretty bad. He like also like they damage a few cars. Maybe it's just one car. Maybe it's choir guy's car. I don't know whose car it is, but he slams the guy against a windshield.
So did he make the status update before he fought him, and did he write it in past tense?
He writes it in, like, past tense.
How does that work?
Okay, so, like, I challenge you to a fight. You make your status update like it already happened, and then they make it...
Yeah, but then, okay, so you make a status update on this app. Where does it go? Yeah. Like, how was the app pitched to him?
The guy was like...
But was he like, there's a bunch of other people on this app, too? Like, no, is it supposed to be, like, Facebook? Like, why is it a status update if no one else can see it? That's not a status update, that's just a journal.
It was kind of pitched like a wish it, want it, do it kind of book.
Okay, so like a self-help thing. But, like, why is it called a status update, then? No one else can see it.
No.
Why is this movie called Status Update? That sucks.
Well, he makes status updates
to no
the universe.
No, because that's not a status update then. Especially if you're doing it before it happens. Not like I'm going to do this, but like an art. That's not a status update. Especially. No. Oh my gosh, there's so many things.
Yeah, like okay, well that alone. Like, you kind of have to keep logic at the door, otherwise you're just gonna get trapped in, like, a weird...
No, that's not even logic. I'm trying to make sense of the rules that this movie is laying out.
Yeah.
And it's just nonsensical. It's not logic. It's nonsense.
Yeah.
Because, like, I'd be fine. It would be dumb, but I'd be fine if it was like it's a self-help app. You just write what you want to happen and you make it come true or whatever. And so it's basically like a journal then in that case. Like, oh, I'm going to kick his butt. And then he does it. Like, fine.
Yeah.
But,
so then it's kind of like bedtime stories.
Yeah, but like it hasn't happened yet. And you write, I kicked his butt so good. And then you go and do it. But obviously something goes wrong. Because that's the whole thing. But like, why? Why is it in past tense? That'd be so awkward. And then it's not even a status update because you're not updating anyone on your status. Especially if it happens before. Oh.
Yeah. You know.
Alright, anyway, continue.
Okay, so he wins the fight, like, aggressively so.
Yes, okay,
and
good.
Then, yeah, and then he asks Blonde Girl, like, let's go out sometime. And she's like, anytime. Which, like, honestly, I feel like I'd be a little horrified to go on a date. Because, like, clearly this choir guy was thinking maybe you'd throw a few punches. Because you're both choir boys. And then you, like, decked him out on some car. You're kind of a monster. Okay. But whatever, she's into that sort of thing. So he goes home and his mom is like, hey, what? Because, oh, right, the sister was like, well, Rossledge got into a fight today. And the mom was like, what? That's not okay. We don't do that. And then the dad's like, look, he won the fight. And, okay. And then the mom's like, they go in this back and forth argument, like, whatever.
Okay.
But then Rossledge just like, and then the mom was like, you need to go to your room. And he's like, but I have a date. And then the dad's just like, yeah, take the car, go on your date, have fun. And the mom's like, kind of really annoyed at that. Because that's annoying. And then, he takes Olivia Holt on the date and they're driving and he's like, what's your favorite thing? What's your favorite thing? Or something like that. She says, Ferris wheels.
Weird answer. Okay.
Okay, everyone I've watched... Okay, I'm so glad. Because everyone I've watched this movie with is like, that's so lame. That's so weird. But anyway, so then he, of course, rigs it. And he's like, we had a Ferris wheel all to ourselves. And they start driving up like 2 minutes after she said that. And now they're like in the middle of the woods. And there's just this lone Ferris wheel and a guy
that is
operating.
Super sketch.
Right? Okay. Because, like, I was thinking about this for so many reasons. Okay, he's from, like, a middle-class family. Okay, he doesn't have a job. He just moved out here from California. You just mentioned this 2 minutes ago. Is he working for the mob? He just, like, flayed a guy out on a windshield.
I guess, okay.
Like,
the only logic I can put to it is, like, maybe she was like, oh, he asked me that so that I would answer, and then he could be like, surprise, Ferris wheel, look at me being all cute.
But it was with the same drive.
I know, but
okay.
She could think, like, maybe he, sorry. Maybe, he asked around and found out, like, beforehand so he could set it all up.
I guess so.
But even still, it's in the middle, like, that's creepy still. Like, even if I thought that, like, oh, he found out from my friends or whatever. Yeah. Because I'm always talking about Ferris wheels all the time for some reason. I wouldn't go in the woods with one person operating it, like, weird.
Yeah. Yeah. It was... So they go on this date, and she's like, oh my gosh, like you get me and stuff, and you're amazing. So then, next thing he has to do, at school is he tells his best friend Lonnie about the app. And he's like, you're crazy. So he like puts him on his skateboard and he types in the status update like Lonnie has really great skateboarder pro moves, and then just lets him go. And then like Lonnie's like, oh my gosh, I do not know how to skateboard. How is any of this happening? I'm kind of horrified. But then everybody is like, wow, that's like really cool. Like everyone, like for the first time in Lonnie's life, people are like, wow, check him out. That's really cool. Hockey guy trips him, and then Ross Lynch is like, hey, you could have really hurt him. Don't do that. And he's like, he's like, what it, like, no, he's Grimace. He's a loser. He can't skateboard. I don't know. And so then I kind of want like a, like to like voice over like the actual film. I'm doing such a good job.
You are. I can picture all these different characters that I don't know the names of.
Good. So then Ross Lynch is like, oh yeah, you think it's so easy? You try. So he hands him the skateboard, and then Hockey Guy's like, all right, I will. Ross Lynch types in a status update. Hockey Guy face plants and embarrasses himself. Loser. So I don't know. Anyway, he like is like, whoa, what's happening to me? I don't know what's going on. Which, like, I don't know. I'm thinking this kid that I've been messing with either has like a tech skateboard that can move on its own, or he's a witch. Either way, I'm not talking to this kid ever again, or his friend that he's protective of, because he's aware that he's not doing anything that the skateboard is doing.
Oh.
Like, because he can feel that he's not doing anything. It's not like you feel like the skill. It's kind of like you're on autopilot.
Okay.
And he gets like pretty hurt. So, but then Ross Lynch is like, okay, yeah. Next thing, he's the next person I have to show up. He already got Choir Boy down. Now it's time to get, what's his face? Hockey Guy out of the way. So then a little like some other stuff happens, who cares? And he's back at Blonde Girl's house, and he sees like her journal, which, like, by the way, if you're like in your like new interest, not even girlfriend's room, don't touch her journal. But whatever, that's just me. It's her journal.
I'm kidding.
Okay, I was gonna say, gosh, kind of friends, kind of dumped.
Oh, no. We'll never be more than kind of friends now.
Now you're gonna read a journal. Not even my journal, just a journal. Anyway, so he's like, what are you doing? What's this? She's like, it's my songbook. I'm like writing a song. And he's like, oh my gosh, you need to show me. And like he opens it and he finds like the new song she's working on. And she's like, oh my gosh, like you're so lame. And then he's like, you have to sing it for me. So she sings a song for him. Next time they're at choir practice, they're doing the Shrek, the Hallelujah song.
Hold on. Did you just attribute that to Shrek?
Well, like, I know that a real person sings it, but like I heard
like
it
one of
Shrek.
my favorite songs.
It's really good. Okay.
It's one of my favorite songs. Yeah, I know it.
Okay.
I know of it.
So that's what they're gonna do for the big showcase. And Ross Lynch is like, forget that noise. We're never gonna win with that trash. Do the song you wrote.
Okay.
And then, so the teacher's like, okay, do the short version. Like, he's thinking, like, we're gonna stick with Hallelujah. And, they sing it together, and they're just, like, looking at each other and vibing really intensely. Ross Lynch is playing the electric guitar. And this is one thing I will say that I enjoyed and appreciated, because Ross Lynch actually is a musician.
Yeah.
He moved his hands along, like, the frets and everything, which is something I recently started looking at whenever people do that. like in movies. Yeah. So he like moves his fingers, and I was like, okay, you did good, movie.
Props.
Right.
The one thing you can give it credit for,
yeah,
is that Ross Lynch is a musician,
and that they cast him in this. They didn't cast some non-musician. I don't know. Anyway, so they're like, yes, we will do that at the showcase. Okay. At this point, Ross Lynch is basically on top of the world, right? He can just kind of like take a break from wishing, can't he?
No. He's addicted to it.
Well, now he's gotta take down Hockey Guy. So he goes to try out for the hockey team. They're in the middle of practice. They're not doing auditions. He's like, I'm really good. So let me audition. I'm better than Hockey Guy. And then the coach, who looks kind of like Michael Keaton, then I was like, why is Michael Keaton in this? But then he's not Michael Keaton. The coach is like, oh, really? Let me see what you've got. So then, okay, so he didn't put a hockey player in this one. So he just said, I slayed on the ice. So how do you think that wish goes wrong?
He's gonna kill people. Oh, no.
Okay. Well, that's one of the ways it could have gone. Honestly, probably would have been a little better. Anyway, he's a figure skater now.
Oh.
And he, like, his legs start doing that swivel thingy that ice skaters do. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. And then he's like, no, not again. And he does and we see the full routine again. And it's like, why are we doing this again? Also, this movie hasn't been very funny. Like, at all.
So it's not a comedy.
It's a teen fantasy, I guess. I don't know. So, and then, just like with Choir, the hockey players are like, oh, okay, you Olympian beauty. Wow, I can watch this all day. Now get out of here, you scamp. And then one of the hockey players is like, yeah, he's no Wayne Gretzky. And then he's like, oh, okay. So then he just does it again, and he tries that again. And then, here, I do not know a lot about hockey. But we find out that Hockey Guy gets demoted to fourth line.
I don't know what that
I
means
don't know
at
either.
All.
But he doesn't get to go on.
Do they expect us to know? Did they explain it?
No, he doesn't. I'm just using some deduction from what happens in the movie. He doesn't get to play.
Okay.
So I'm thinking maybe fourth line is like second string, but like
or fourth.
Well, that I'm hoping it's not fourth string, because from my knowledge of second string, that's basically like a whole other team, right? It's like the sports. I think second string is kind of like the sports understudies, like for each player. And you weren't good enough to be first string, but you're second string. Don't worry about it. But if you're fourth string, how do you go from being the best player on the team to the fourth worst player on the team? So I'm hoping fourth line just means you're second string. But even so, there's no way he could get on the ice. He's still one of the best players. I don't know. It seems like Michael Keaton was just like had a bone to pick with him for getting showed up by some California kid or something. I don't know. So it's the big game, and okay, now they decided to introduce a new character. Maybe they introduced her earlier, but her name's Charlotte, and this is something else. Okay, Mean Girls. The Plastics, they have a slow-mo walk, right?
Yes.
But there's still like a bunch of people around them. The camera's just focused on them.
Right.
And it's just kind of slowed down. It creates the effect of like people do look at them, but like people still live their life. Okay. this is one of those teen movies that didn't get the point of Mean Girls at all. And so she just like parts the Red Sea and everyone just like, Charlotte. She's like, I don't know. And then, yeah, okay, so.
Yes, excellent point.
So then she's dating Hockey Guy, apparently. And she's like glaring at him and she's like, why are you on the ice? Why are you sitting here? And then he's like, I got demoted. And so then she's like, well, forget you. We're over. I'm going on to Ross Lynch now. And so they're setting that up. So then, what's her blonde girl is like, hey, so you're on the hockey team now? What about our big showcase? I feel like you're not going to be able to go to both because, like, they're on the same night. And he's like, well, choir is more important to me, so, like, I'll make it work. And she's like, she actually, like, it wasn't, like, one of those movies where, like, now she cuts him off completely or whatever. She's just kind of like, I'm kind of worried that this might be an issue. But, like, I'm talking to you about it right away. Like, just letting you know where I'm at. And he's like, no, silly girl. It'll be fine. So then Lonnie is like, hey, it's my birthday. And my parents are throwing a dinner. And they don't think you're real. Please come. And he's like, you're my best friend. I wouldn't miss that for the world. And he's like, we're best friends? Oh, my God. That's amazing. And then hockey guys are like, Ross Lynch. Oh, okay. You went to a high school. You were, like, into sports and stuff. What was your big team at school?
Our football team was pretty good, like, my first 2 years in high school.
Okay, they had posters everywhere, right?
No.
Okay. See, I just wanted to check because my high school, we didn't have any posters, but my school wasn't like particularly known for being athletic. We won a lot of decathlons and things, but not a lot of sportsy stuff.
They didn't have any, definitely didn't have any, like, because here's the thing with the issues with, like, having posters of the players, you have to change them every year. Like, that's a lot of money.
Yeah, well, and these are, like, real fancy, real big, and they're everywhere. Yeah, that's...
So, like, the most we had were, like, if they won a state championship, they got, like, a banner that said the year that they won. Like, you know?
Yeah, that's, like, reasonable, affordable. But, so, now, Hockey Guy's gone, Ross Lynch, all over the wall, he played one game. He's the man now. He walks in, he gets his own slow-mo walk now. People are high-fiving him. He's just so cool.
They got that poster up fast.
Oh my God, like,
what print shop did they go to?
They rushed to Kinko's. Kinko, me and Matt talked about this in some video.
Kinko's does still exist. It's just...
Okay.
Yeah, I I heard him talking about this.
Okay.
It has changed to it's like FedEx something by Kinko's or something.
Okay.
So they still exist. They're just not called Kinko's anymore. But
okay. All right.
Everyone still calls them Kinko's.
Okay, that's good. So that's where they went. They got the posters.
Okay.
Result. The hockey guys were like, okay, there's gonna be a party tonight. You gotta be there. But what about best friend dinner? And he's like, thinking to himself, like, okay, but only for a minute because best friend dinner.
Yeah, another trope.
Yeah, he goes there, and everyone else is in costume, and
what?
Oh, I forgot.
Is it Halloween?
Yeah. No, I don't know when it is. They don't see.
What?
Okay, this is something. Okay, what's your opinion on timestamps in movies?
If it's not okay, I have a very particular opinion, I guess, because a lot of times timestamps are unnecessary because unless the time itself is relevant to the plot directly or is going to come up again later, we don't need to know the exact time. We can be like, oh, it's dark outside, so it's nighttime. Or like, oh, they just got home from school, so it's around dinner time. Like, you know, audiences don't need it laid out. It's 5:10 p.m. Unless it's relevant. Also, you don't need a timestamp. If it is going to be relevant to the plot and you use it, you should be using it consistently and not just like, we need it in this one scene. Because why? You could easily write it into the dialogue or like show a clock or something more organic and natural than timestamp.
Yeah, like, I guess that's kind of the thing too. Like, I'm pretty much there. I guess the only thing is, I feel like a lot of teen movies just do like a really bad job of like explaining how much time has passed or like where we are. Like, I don't know how long he's been going to this school.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. So
that, or they do, like, I feel like this happened in Invisible Sister, where it was like, they made it seem like they were in school for way longer than they were. It was like 2 months or something, and they made it seem like it was the whole year. And it's like, oh, it's only been 2 months.
Like, like, it's really weird, because like in like in this, it seemed like everyone had been going to school for a while, so it wasn't like the first day of school. So at this party, I don't have no reason to think it's Halloween. But like, they're still in school, and I don't know when hockey season is. That's not common knowledge to anybody. So I don't know. Anyway, so anyway, it's a costume party, and then popular girl Charlotte, she has this friend, I don't know, her name's Sadie or something, she's like blonde, and she goes up to Ross Lynch and she's like, hey, do you like my costume? And she's dressed in like a Native American outfit, and she says, I'm a naughty brave.
What?
Yeah.
I hate that. Why are they like really
weird? And it's such a like small bit. Why are you doing this?
It feels like they're... Why are they...
And then...
That's so weird.
I don't know how I feel about Xing Fu at first, but like, I don't like that. Okay, so then Charlotte comes off and she's like, I like your outfit. I wore it 2 summers ago.
Okay. What a weird thing to say, but alright.
Yeah. So then she takes Ross Lynch away and she's like, I'm gonna be the best of everything, and I deserve the very best of everything, and I used to be hockey guy, but now it's you, so be with me. And he's like, this is wonderful, you're lovely, but I really must be getting to my best friend's birthday dinner. And she's like, you could, or you could be with me, ah. And so then he like has a really, really nasty kiss with her that she posts on Instagram, like mid-kiss. It was really like, I was not a fan. And then we go to Lonnie with his sad dinner, and his parents, like, he's sitting right there. You guys could have waited till like you got home.
Have your discussion
later. But then they're just like, oh. But then they're talking to him. They're like, Lonnie, is this 4th grade all over again? Like, he mentions like he had an imaginary friend before. Like,
why would you say that to your...
on his birthday, even? Like,
senior year in high school son.
But like, you know,
like, if you were... Okay, because here's the thing.
Yeah.
4th grade, appropriate age to have an imaginary friend. If you really thought that your son was making up a friend at 17 or 18, and you thought it was his imaginary friend, you might need to actually seek help for him. Yeah. Not just be like, oh, is this 4th grade all over again? You're so cute. I'm sorry that your friend is just imaginary. Like, or that's not appropriate for a 17-year-old.
Yeah. But Or at the very least, I don't know, maybe you guys should plan like productive parenting. Like, why does our son feel compelled to lie to us? Why does he think he has something to prove to us?
Right?
We like, you know, like, don't even mention like the status of this friend's existence. Just be like, you know, son, you turned out amazing, and your mother and I wouldn't change a thing about you. You're amazing. Let's just order some food. Your friend will join, or maybe he's just a flake, whatever. But like, let's just eat.
Especially when they're like, when he's clearly sad. So like, if he even was, if he did have like an imaginary friend or was lying about it or whatever, he's sad that the person didn't show up. So why would you be like?
Yeah, because especially like if my grown son is like talking about this ultra cool guy who hangs out with him, I feel like if anything, I don't think I'd be worried about him being real or not. I'd be worried about maybe this kid like taking advantage of my son or something. If I'm going to be suspicious, but I'm not going to jump to, well, my son couldn't possibly have friends. Like, that's just rude. Anyway. Jeez. So he doesn't make it, and so the next day he's walking down the halls and he feels like kind of like iffy about what went down, and he sees Olivia Holt and she looks at him so heartbroken, and she just walks off and he runs after. He's like, wait, no, and she's like, hey, don't worry about it, we weren't anything, so it's fine that you like. She does call it a gross kiss too, and I'm like, thank you, because I hope they weren't. I hope they weren't trying to make that attractive, because it was bad. So she calls it gross, so that was intentional. But like, I don't know why Charlotte is this coveted lady if that's what she throws on the table. Like, I feel like maybe it would have worked out better if she wasn't also trying to, like, look good for the camera.
Yeah.
She had a lot going on. She should have focused on the moment, maybe. I don't know. I have no advice to give her, really. But, like, she needs a new life, a new everything. Anyway, she's like, no, forget it. And then he's like, no, like, please, like, I'm sorry. It's everything. And then... So then here's this, like, at first I was like, poor Olivia Holt, but now I'm like, honestly, Ross Lynch, maybe you dodged a bullet with this one. She says, like, are you even gonna come to, like, rehearsal or whatever? Like, clearly you're more into this now and being popular, blah, blah, blah. But he's like, no, like, I care about you, I care about the song. And she's like, do you? Because I wrote Drowning the night of the Ferris wheel.
Wow.
We went on like half a date and you wrote this the song is called Drowning, and it's all about like succumbing to drowning in your love for someone.
Jeez.
Like, let me see if I can...
Okay, but I guess the only...
Love.
The only thing I can say is that high school, I guess,
she went on a Ferris wheel ride with this guy, and he just said like, "You're cute."
But this is high school. That's all it takes in high school.
All right, you know? Okay.
I mean, I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt.
Okay, I still think he could have just left her there, because like clearly he's not there at the very least, because he made out with Charlotte at the party.
Was he like into it, or was he what was she just like going to town?
He was kind of like, no, he was more like, I have to go to my best friend. He didn't really mention her at all, Olivia. He was more just like, he was like, the only thing stopping this right now is that I have a prior engagement to attend to, madam.
Wow.
So, yeah. So now they're together. So also Lonnie is like, I'm not talking to you anymore. And they're like in the locker room and he's like, what? I'm sorry. It's just, the app. And he's like, honestly, that app has made you a monster. And he's like, no, like, think about it. Like, what do you want? Like, this app can make you whoever you want to be. And then Lonnie's like, I'm fine with who I am. You're the problem. You changed. This, like, and it was like a really, like, good for you, Lonnie, standing up for yourself. But then they ruin the moment. They do that dumb thing where it's like, I'm storming out, but I can't do it gracefully. Something has to go wrong. I forget. He, like, drops something. He's like, I'm getting this, but I'm still mad at you. And, like, no. Like, why can't you just let Lonnie have something?
Because it's a comedy. He's the comic relief.
Hashtag justice for Lonnie. Anyway.
Right?
So then, he's going to dinner with, like, with Charlotte, and they got Jean Grey to be Charlotte's mom.
I saw that in the cast list. That's crazy.
She must know somebody. She owed somebody a favor, because not that she's like done like so much besides Jean Grey, but like I don't know.
Jean Grey, like that was an entire film series.
Yeah, and like she wasn't Taken. Like she did something else too recently that I was like, oh, that's Jean Grey. Anyway.
Yeah, right. She's like one of those like, I feel like, X-Men in particular has just like characters, or the actors they got for the characters just became those characters. Like,
yeah,
like nobody else has been Wolverine, you know?
No.
So,
no.
Yeah.
Yeah, even valid. Even in the new Jean Grey, it's still not as Jean Grey to me as, I still really liked it, but it wasn't as,
yeah.
She didn't do that for me. Anyway, okay, so then, Charlotte is like, hey, we went a weird place. Anyway, so then, okay, so then, Charlotte is like, ew, take that peasant car away. I don't know anything about cars, but it's like a red convertible that he restored with his dad. So, like, I think they said, like, a 69 something Romero or something, and they named it Born to Run. Anyway, whatever. It looks like a fine car to me, but I guess it's just peasantry to real rich people.
Real rich people.
Yeah, people who could actually afford a Ferris wheel in the middle of the woods. So, he parks it with the peasants, and, like, at first the parents are so, like, standoffish, and, like, Jean Grey is just, like, one of those, like, rich martini moms, you know what I mean? Like, where they're not really, like, they're just, like, I don't know, just, if you've seen, like, a rich mom in a movie, like, with a martini, like, that type.
Okay.
And the dad's, like, how, like, rich are you, basically? What are you gonna major in? What are you gonna be? And, like, Charlotte's like, he's really good at hockey, Dad.
Should have, Dad.
Yeah. And I'm like, why'd you bring him here? Why was this part? Like, if you just, I don't even know what the point was of doing this dinner. But then he does a status update like, her parents love me. And so he comes back, and then the dad says something, like, off the cuff or whatever, and then Rosalind is like, you know what? Blah, 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 because you stink. And then the dad starts laughing, you're right, I'm the worst. And then Jean Grey is like, it takes me 3 of these just to get through dinner. And then they start laughing because they're all the worst. And then Jean Grey is like, and then, Charlotte is also, like, looking at her parents so horrified, like, who are these people?
Fair.
These are not the people that I've spent my whole life with. So then Jean Grey stands up and she's like, all right, that's enough fun. Rosalind, let's go to the kitchen and get dessert. And then she starts, like, hitting on him. She, like, really loves him. Because you gotta be careful what you wish for, and you didn't say that they loved me like the son they never had. You just said that they love me. Which, like,
okay,
but if
like,
you're gonna do that, Dad too, right?
Right, yeah.
Consistency. Whatever. I guess, but I don't know what kind of message that would send if they just straight up changed an orientation. So I guess that's good.
I guess, but, like,
that seems...
if you're gonna go there.
But, yeah, and also if you're gonna have Naughty Braves and Zing Fu, it's not like you really care about being politically correct about anything, so...
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, be consistent. Dad needed to help with dessert too. So this is uncomfortable to watch because she's like literally throwing herself at him and she's like, I was a ballerina. You don't need my daughter, you need someone flexible. And he's like, please let me leave. Anyway, the phone drops, so now it's shattered and universe isn't working because he's trying to like, I don't know why he didn't just like say, Charlotte, your mom's trying to defile me. Get in here.
Because it's too embarrassing.
But then he ends up trying to make a new status update. What was he going to even change it to? Jean Grey's no longer interested in me romantically? I don't know.
We broke up.
Yeah.
It's complicated.
She breaks in half. Anyway, so then, what's it? Okay, yeah, so the app breaks, he can't get anything to fix, and, like, the app won't even really, like, open right, and he tries to go to the mall to get Kiosk Guy, and then a mall lady, security guard is like, what are you talking about? There's never been a kiosk here.
Oh, no, another trope.
And he's like, what? No, Kiosk Guy.
There hasn't been a kiosk guy here in 40 years.
Yeah, I think she said, she says, like, we don't even have kiosks here. What are you talking about? So then he's like, oh, no. So now he sort of has to, like, slowly fix his life. So, well, that's already terrible enough after that dinner, right? And he goes home and he's all dejected and he sees his sister on the stairs, sad. And he's like, hey, like, what's going on? She's like, Mom and Dad are fighting again. And then this is like, oh, right. Okay. So I mentioned that Dad came back.
Yeah.
So the reason Mom moved 3,000 miles away is because Dad just likes to surf all day and he doesn't have a job and he's basically a loser. And she needs to raise her children.
Okay.
But somehow you made it this long. I don't know. So, okay, so then when he comes back, she's like, honestly, I don't want you here. And he's like, I'm going to get a new job out here. We're going to be a family again. And Rosalind is like, yeah, Dad. And this is one thing where I'm like, okay, so did you, like, forget the whole premise of the movie? Because, like, Rosalind, if you're trying to make your life better, why don't you just wish my dad got the job?
Yeah.
My dad got the job, killing it. Anyway. So they're fighting, and she's like, there is no job, is there? You've just been stringing us along like you always are. Excuses, blah, 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 blah. And he's like, quit it, and I'm not gonna change. You can't change me. And then she's like, then this is like I said, they're really good actors. So, like, Wendy, whatever her last name is. Sorry. She's like,
Covey.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. Let me see. It is, yeah, like McLennan and Covey. Okay. So she's like, I am tired of always being the bad guy. Ross Lynch hates me for bringing him here. And, and he thinks you, like, want him to live with you and that I'm the bad guy for taking him away. And I would never tell him the truth because it would break his heart. But Ross Lynch heard that and is like, oh.
Oh no, my heart.
Yeah. So then the next day he doesn't want to go to school and his mom's like, well, you have to go to school. Why don't you want to go? And he's like, okay. So he says, I posted some things on social media. I hurt a lot of people and I don't know how to fix it.
Okay.
At this point, if you're the mom, how do you take that? I think my son's a cyberbully.
Yeah.
Okay. But somehow she knows, like, the whole premise of the movie and doesn't misunderstand at all. And she's like, honestly, social media isn't even real. It's just what people wish it was. So, like, all you could do is, like, the next right thing and just fix it. Like, rip it off a Band-Aid. So, go to school. And I'm like, well, okay. That wasn't incorrect, but I don't know why you understood what was going on in his life. But whatever.
Because she's mom and she does everything for the kids.
Yeah. Anyway, so then he's like, okay, so first things first, he goes to Lonnie's house and he's like, hi, I'm Lonnie's friend. And they're like, did he pay you? Like, literally, like, stop being parents. I'm going to adopt Lonnie. And then he's like, no, really, like, Lonnie's actually, like, my best friend since, like, I moved out here or whatever. And they're like, oh my gosh, they start, like, hugging him and touching his face. Like, oh my gosh.
Maybe
like,
they're the losers.
Yeah. Like, maybe
Sounds
this is why Lonnie lost
like
his
it.
friends. He caught them over once,
Yeah.
and they were like, never again, Lonnie. Anyway, so then, like, they're like, oh my gosh, you're so great, Rosalind. And then Lonnie sees him, and he's like, still mad at you. So he walks past him. But he still has the skateboard, so, like, he's been skateboarding. And then, like, Rosalind, like, apologizes and everything, and, then, like, Lonnie's like, you're lucky you're my only friend. We're bros again. At some point, like, when Olivia Hall, like, broke up with him, I don't remember if I made that clear, but, like, they're not doing it together anymore. It's just, she's gonna sing it by herself, but, like, she feels like it's only good as a duet, so she's like, let's just do Hallelujah again. And the teacher's like, but you wrote this song, like, it meant so much to you, like, don't give up yet, kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And so then Rosalind just, like, he's like watching them practice and fail, and he just looks like, oh man, I wish there was something I could do. But then he just leaves. And I was like, okay, I kind of thought we were going to do like the Mean Girls, Katie Heron, like, get your life right montage, but I guess not. He's just, I guess, he fixed it with Lonnie, now he's just like looking at what problems he has. So he goes to Hockey Guy. He's at this table, and he's like, what are you doing with us? What are you doing next to us lepers? And there's like one other girl sitting at the table who's just like eating her lunch, and she gives him such a side eye, like, don't lump me with you, loser. I'm just eating here. I just like really connected with that side eye. Because lepers. But yeah, Hockey Guy has like really let himself go. He like takes a bite of sandwich, and there's like sauce smeared on his face. He doesn't even wipe it off. He's just,
wow, he like destroyed this kid's life.
Yeah, which I honestly like, props to the movie, because I don't feel like we ever really get like that.
Yeah.
Right? Like, he's like, what do you want? Why would I ever talk to you again? You cost me my girl, all my scholarships, my dad's shipping me off to the military now. Like,
jeez.
Real, like, yeah. And then Rosalind is like, I know, but, like, I want to fix it. So, and then, remember, like, Hockey Guy was, like, leader of the team, and those guys were, like, his best friends. They helped him destroy Ross Lynch's phone, but then they look over with Charlotte, and they're like, what's he doing with that loser? Like, they don't know him forever.
Oh my gosh.
So then, it's, like, the day of the big game. And
is that what it's called? It's hockey?
I mean, aren't they all big games? I don't know. Is it just...
Yes, a wrestling game. My favorite.
Okay, well, it's not a hockey match.
I don't know what it is. Maybe. I guess it is a game. Hockey game? So... Okay, yeah, sure.
Okay, well, clearly we're not kind of sport. Okay. So then Ross Lynch goes out, and he's like, oh no, I got hurt on the ice. And then the coach is like, no, don't do this to me, no. And then he's like, I have to, And then he winks at Hockey Guy. Hockey Guy is like, come on, coach, let me in. And he's like, all right. And I'm like, he was the best player before. He's not now. He was captain before. Why are you so over him just because this one guy is kind of better? Like, I don't even know, like, how much better. But, like, anyway, that really bugged me for some reason, that they're so mean to this guy. I mean, he was awful, but, like, he was sticking to the status quo. Okay, so then he goes out, he, like, gets rushed to the locker room, I guess, and then the guy's like, okay, I'm gonna call, like, an ambulance or something. And then Ross Lynch is like, okay, no, he sits up, and then Lonnie comes in with a bag of like a change of clothes and everything, and then Ross is like, okay, call my family, tell them to meet me at the Grand Slam. So he goes there. Olivia Holt is like nervous about performing, and they have like this one like, I don't know what song that was supposed to be that they were performing the competition, but like I was underwhelmed, so like you're good, but fine. So, but she's like, oh no, we're like gonna lose because Ross Lynch isn't here. So then, she goes to she goes to perform and whatnot, and then he is like, and he does that thing where like you start at the back of the audience, and somehow he's like playing an electric guitar.
Okay.
And I don't know how. And then she's like, wait, what's going on? And then like the
and the audience is like, wait, what's going on?
Yeah, she kind of like makes a face, and then the which I think is good, because not like Tall Girl where the like she's like straight up talking to the audience like, what's happening now? This wasn't planned. Anyway, so then the teacher's like, this is your moment, girl, go for it. And then oh, a few seconds back, before he does this big entrance moment or whatever, choir guy, remember him?
Yeah.
You haven't seen it for a while. Oh,
yeah, he was in the hospital.
Yeah, he tried to expose Ross Lynch at a pep rally a while ago before the big game, and it doesn't really matter. Anyway, so Ross Lynch is like, hey, look, whatever you are, like, I don't care, just be yourself. And he's like, okay, you're right. And so, like, they hug, and then Ross Lynch is like, okay, yeah, cool. And then, like, he goes for a kiss, and Ross Lynch is like, well, not with me. And he's like, oh, but I thought, nope. And I was like, do we really have time for this? Like, the song's starting.
I'm so confused about his character.
I guess the point is he's confused. We're confused with him. I don't know. But then, yeah, so they do the performance, and, like, I don't think they win. I don't even remember. I'm assuming. But then he goes out. Oh!
That's good.
Oh my gosh. Right. I'm so sorry. So, like, he told his mom she looked pretty earlier. Goes downstairs for breakfast, and the dad's there, and then Ross Lynch is like, hey, Dad, how's that new job? And he's like, what? Why are you bringing that up now? Like, ins and outs and all that jazz. And then he's like, no, we're tired of you jerking us around. I've been so mean to Mom, and you didn't even want me. And then, like, that's the dialogue. Like, tells him off, and he's like, Mom's sick of it, my sister's sick of it, I'm sick of it now. We're all on board that you're a bad dad. And then he's like, then the dad, he's like, wow, is that how you all feel? The sister kind of like awkwardly like nods her head in agreement, and then he looks at like his father-in-law. He's like, well, I already know how you feel. Okay, I'm gonna take this breakfast elsewhere. And I'm like, yeah, we all told you off. It'd be really weird if you stayed.
He should have just stayed.
It's weird you kept the breakfast, honestly.
Well, he doesn't have a job. He needs it.
Well, that's fair. Well, I won't be too mean about that. Okay, so he was at the hockey game, and now the dad's at like the Grand Slam. And he watches him, and like him and the ball, everyone is like, "Oh my gosh, Ross Lynch, you're so talented. Who knew?" And then he's walking out, and then he sees like his dad standing by the car, and then the mom is like, "Hey, like you should go talk to him. Like this morning was heated, but like you don't want it to like end like this, He's like, "Okay." So he goes to his dad. They have like this heart to heart. He's like, "Hey, take care of him, And then Ross Lynch is like, yeah, I will. And they hug, and it's, like, nice. And then the dad says, if you ever need anything. And then Ross Lynch says, I know, Dad.
What?
And I'm like, what do you mean? If you ever need anything, I know, I'll ask Mom. If you ever need anything, lose my number. Like, what do you mean? What I needed was a father.
Yeah, like what?
What do you mean if I ever needed anything? Oh my gosh. Okay, so then the dad drives off, so he doesn't have the car anymore. He's staying with the girl, and he like so now, and then at some point in the movie, it doesn't really matter when, but like his sister comes up to him, I think after he tells off the dad, and she's like, hey, I'm sorry I haven't been that good of a sister. And he's like, I could do worse. But like, she didn't do anything wrong.
I was gonna say, was that like a thing in the movie?
No. She understood why her mom did what she did. She made new friends at school. She told Ross Lynch that he needed to just sympathize with mom and make new friends. Also, she's way younger than him. She's like a freshman or something. So I feel like she did what she was supposed to do. Whatever, the movie felt like she owed Ross Lynch an apology.
She was a bad sister.
I guess so. So, now we're back at school, and like, now we're not really doing slow-mo walks anymore, but like, everything's right with the world. Now, it used to be a Shark Tank, but now he could just float. And like, he says hi to hockey guy, he says hi to choir guy, he says hi to everybody. And then he sees Olivia Holt, and she is wearing like a really cute outfit that I don't really know how to describe, but it's a lot cuter than anything else she wore in the movie. So seems like she was trying to make a point. So then he walks by and he starts to say like, for what it's worth, and then she walks off before he can finish, and he's like, under his breath, like, I'm really glad I met you. And then she comes back up behind him and she's like, I guess I'm kind of glad I met you too. And they sort of smile at each other. And I was like, oh, that's like kind of cute. Like, a lot has happened. It's too soon for them to get together. Like, okay, that's like a nice. Oh, nope, they're kissing now. And he's lifting her up and spinning her around in the middle of the hallway. They're together. Okay, well, all right. I guess we weren't on the same page, movie. But. Like, I don't know. I think it would have been much more, like, leave it open. Maybe they'll be together. Maybe they won't be. Who knows? Like, that could have been cute. Because she, like, I'm glad I met you too. Smile. Maybe a look back. I don't know. But that was Status Update.
That was truly terrible.
I don't really like. It's just so weird. Like, I still think the weirdest thing was like how everything was like a decom. They just added in random things to be like, no, this is edgy. Which is like.
Yeah, like all the cultural insensitivity. So edgy.
And serenading your teacher.
And your girlfriend's mom wanting to bang you.
Yeah.
I hate that it's called Status Update. I hate that it was literally just like every other movie that is like this, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, it didn't bring anything new to it at all.
No.
Wow. I'm really glad I didn't have to watch this movie.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel that I've watched it like 10 times.
Oh, no.
Okay. Well, I guess that about wraps it up. Thank you all out there for listening. And we'll see you next time.
See you next time.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.
Oh, like and subscribe. Bye.